This is the Sanvaadita channel of All India Radio Mumbai on medium wave 287.3 meters, corresponding to 1044 kilohertz. Today we have in our studio Mr. Balkrishna Shinde, Member Board of Studies of Maharashtra, Mentor and Master Trainer of British Council, and Member of Rashtriya Madhyamik Sarv Shiksha Abhiyaan, interviewed by Santosh Sirur.
Hello and welcome to another episode of our program where we discuss education. Education in terms of teaching, education in terms of learning. Whatever be that, education is end of the day the most important activity in a person's life. It's a learning. Learning never ends. And to discuss about education with us in the studios, Mr. Balkrishna Shinde, who is a member board of studies of Maharashtra. He is also a mentor and a master trainer of the British Council, and also a member of the Rashtriya Madhyamik Sarv Shiksha Abhiyaan. Mr. Shinde, welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Shinde, I think the first question anybody would have in mind when we talk about education is, what is the scenario of education in Maharashtra now? Where do you see it going?
Education is going to take a drastic change in Maharashtra. Today we can see that to every part of education, we can see the students,
Yeah,
they're taking center stage. In olden days, teachers were having prime importance. Whatever he used to tell them, they
they used to abide by it.
yes.
Okay, so now do you see that the child has got that power to challenge, the power to question? Is that what you mean
Yes.
when you say
now,
learning?
Now he's gaining that confidence to us.
Okay. And what do you think has led to this change from a teacher to a child, in terms of this drastic change? What do you think really has made this change?
Only because of the change in the system,
Okay.
teaching system, methodology,
Okay.
approaches. Yeah, when in 2010, RMSA and British Council, they introduced ELIPS program for Maharashtra,
Okay.
English Language Initiative for Primary Schools, and then followed by English Language Initiative for Secondary School, that is ELIS. And from those programs, this drastic change has come in.
Okay, if you can elaborate a bit on what exactly would this kind of a program comprise of for our average listener?
In this program, actually, teachers are trained.
Okay.
Through these trainings, all the teachers come to know what kind of teaching should be there in classroom situation.
So has that been something a completely different kind of a change for a teacher herself?
Very,
or a-
very differently.
If you can share your experience.
Yes, sure. Now, teachers brings in so many activities,
Correct.
pre-study material. Previously, he used to explain each and everything, particularly in Marathi medium schools or where English is third language.
Yes.
They used to translate each and everything,
Okay.
going on explaining, dramatizing, whatever. But now, teacher is giving more chance, more opportunities to his learners to come up, engage in activities, and he makes them more free. Only because of that making free, they come up, they share their hesitancy.
So it's more of an experiential learning that possibly has
Exactly.
started.
They learn through doing.
Okay. And the freedom that one gets and to enjoy.
Exactly, exactly. And they are just motivated. They are encouraged
Okay.
that time.
Okay. But at the same time, I'm sure with your experience, you can't negate the role of a teacher.
Obviously,
Where does that one draw a line?
now teacher has become king of
Domain, subject.
domain
Yes.
subject.
Yeah.
Why? Because his role has been broadened. Like today, he's guide, he's a planner, he's facilitator, a diagnostician,
Yes.
assessor, evaluator, and he's the role model of his learners. And we can't forget the supreme role that he is a mentor now.
Yes. So the child really looks up to him or her, right, for their future.
Yeah, the way his teacher just presents himself
Yeah.
or herself, they emulate. Learners follow him or her.
Correct.
Yeah, in that way, we can say that his mentoring role play a very significant part in classroom.
So as you say, mentoring is a very important concept
Very
that is
important
coming.
concept.
I'm sure there has been a change, because earlier mentoring or mentoring itself was not really something that was prevalent through. It's only now that it's emerging as a new technique of learning maybe. What has been the experience of such teachers who
Thanks
have moved into it?
to RMSA and British Council,
Okay.
because this term they introduced it first
Okay.
for our schools,
Okay.
particularly in Maharashtra.
So what happens in that? In a mentoring session, what really if you could just take us through.
Yes, in this mentoring, teacher adapt teachers. I mean, mentors adapt teachers.
Okay.
He guides them, he trains them, and in his trainings, he tells them how to handle the classes. Through various perspective, he just guides them to tell, to go before learners. And teachers, they are more free along with the problems when they come before mentor.
Okay, so they open up and kind of share their problems that they have.
Mentor just makes them more free.
Okay, which is very good. You should encourage. I think that's very important.
And he tells them, just conduct your classes in freedom.
Okay, give the space to the child.
Space to the child.
Okay.
That is important.
Okay, I think there is one important aspect as a teacher and a very typical traditional teacher. I'm sure some teachers would have come across this as like, okay, I have been teaching for years. Now somebody's teaching me. Have you come across such instances where,
Yes.
How have one tackled them?
It's many times it's happened.
Yeah.
But see, there is one kind of teaching learning method, that is peer teaching, say. Yeah. So in that case, suppose some teacher has got that kind of problem, superior complexity.
Correct,
in him.
yeah.
Okay. So we make him to just observe our lesson. Many a times it happened when he just visited my class, for example, and after observing my class, he realizes his mistakes. He just tried to show hesitancy, rigidity. Say.
Okay, and slowly you see an acceptance.
Yes.
Okay.
But in that case also, we need to be very social to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, another aspect of this, I guess, is also the fact that I think what really it kind of helps is not forget the teacher, but end of the day, the student benefits out of it. Any good experiences from a student's perspective that you can share with this kind of a change that has happened?
In my classes particularly, my learners, they come up with their own ideas, carrying out activities in my classes. Many a times, I do not teach them. I make them to teach.
Okay, which is very important. Because
Very important.
I think the expression, the form of freedom that one gets,
Yes.
I think that really develops their personality. Can you imagine, the amount of encouragement that would have definitely gone into him? You would not have as a teacher noticed it, but when he came to you, I wanted you to just step back and think, what would have happened? What did you do as a teacher that really gave him this opportunity? What really made the difference?
It has been always my approach to deal with my learners. Like, I become the mother. Only mother can know what child needs.
Which means you're caring,
Yeah,
you're
very
compassionate.
caring, compassionate, very kind to them. And I always think from their own perspective.
Okay.
Only because of they do not have any fear in their mind coming to me.
They should
sharing
come in,
with me.
absolutely.
Yeah. And in my classroom situation, I just make them so free to come up, just express themselves.
Yeah.
Doing those activities. Even sometimes they go wrong. I never criticize them. Better luck next time.
Yeah.
In this way, I go with them, and that's why they think I'm their best friend.
But at the same time, I think the other challenge from a broad educational perspective is this kind of an idea that you have been experiencing and you have been able to implement it. Has that been seen across the schools in Maharashtra?
Yes.
Or is that somewhere you do see these kind of gaps where still the traditional education method is working?
Actually, this gap is very big, but it will take time
It's taking time, it's
take
moving
time
ahead.
to bridge it. Okay, and so being a mentor, being a master trainer, being a POS member, it's my duty to bridge the gap between curriculum and classroom teaching.
That brings me to another topic, and I think it's very important, especially with the government of the day really giving a lot of stress and a lot of impetus. I think that's skill development.
Yes.
And I already envision that because the amount of skill that we need, the individuals having that kind of skill sets, to meet that major gap requirement in terms of employability. Where do you think are we heading on the skills development process?
I can say that we are on right track. Because this is the initiative taken by this RMSA and British Council, you see.
Yeah.
Teachers now just taking guidance the learners to the right direction. And through going in this direction, this is the direction to the skill development, personality development. Now, teachers are thinking about their CPD, continuing professional development. Now, they were aware of all this. And only because of that, now they too are trying their level best for skill development of the learners.
The next question, I guess, is important from a complete perspective of a nation as such. The role of India as a country in education. Any thoughts on that you can share? The role of a student, okay, mainly from a country perspective, is so important because you have such a young generation here in India that is going to really contribute a lot to the not just the country as a whole, but the world community as a whole. Because as we as a country have a lot of India has a lot of potential because we are a young nation end of the day. Though we are a 70-year-old country, the population strata is a younger population. And I'm sure over the years, once they grow up, they're going to really contribute to the economy of India as well as the world possibly.
Yes.
So where do you see that happening, and are you think we are on the right track?
Yes, we are on the right track. I'm very positive about this.
Okay.
Because this young generation is going to play a very important role over there. See, they are getting exposure from speaking point of view. They are going to be a language experts. And in olden days, they were just lacking in language. Only because of they were not able to speak fluently, so they were not ready to come up. But nowadays, scenario is completely going to change. And I'm sure the day will come when they will come up in large in number.
I think that is a very positive note.
Positive note.
Absolutely. From a curriculum perspective, are we as a board, that you are on, you represent, up to the mark, or do you see that too as a something from an education perspective, really looking forward in terms of meeting the standards?
Total education policy has got a tremendous change in the curriculum. I'm not talking about just only English language. I'm talking about all the subjects. They are going to have